Okay, this next lesson, we are now in Excel lesson chapter 1, lesson 8, student E project 16, copying and pasting from page 398 in the student handbook. Okay, this is the continuation from the previous lesson. In step number 4, we will go straight to the profit sheet. So again, we are down here in the budget sheet and we'll go straight to the profit sheet by clicking down in the second tab. Okay, next we are now in step number 5. And in step number 5, we'll select cell E9 and copy the formula and paste the formula to range E10 through E19. So here's the E9. We will copy this formula and we will paste it on range E10 all the way down through E19. Pressing the enter will paste it. Notice the error here that is mentioned here in step number 5 in cell E13. So you know there is a problem with this formula. So in step number 6, we will undo the paste. Undo. Another shortcut for undo, as you will notice, is Control Z. Okay, and then to get rid of this, we have to click the escape key in the keyboard. Okay, and continue with step number 7. We will click E9, and let's notice that to calculate the discounted price, the formula has to use the discount percentage in cell G10. That is what we see up here in the formula bar. When we're looking at cell E9, we notice that G4 is the reference that they are talking about over here. That cell reference needs to be changed to an absolute reference for the formula to copy correctly. So in edit mode, we will change the G4 cell reference to an absolute reference. So let's to do step number 8, we have to remember there are 2 things to get into edit mode. And the first thing we have to do is click the F2 key on the keyboard. That takes us into edit mode. Now we can go inside the actual formulas. We see that the insertion point is here after B9, but we have to change it for G. We have to change the G cell reference to an absolute reference. So that means we have to take this insertion point and put it right here, anywhere in the area of the G4. We could do this here directly inside the cell, or we can do it up here on the formula bar. It will have the same exact effect. And the shortcut for the absolute reference is the function key on your keyboard, which is F4. Notice when I click F4, you will see the dollar signs inserted automatically. Sorry, I clicked the number 4, not the F4. Here's the F4 there. Notice the dollar signs before and after the G. That now means that we have made cell G4 an absolute reference. That means that it will be referring to the percentage sign over here. Notice how it highlighted over here in blue. Once I have done that, the F4 that I've already pressed converted this to an absolute. I will now click enter. Okay, so in step number 9, we will copy cell E9 again. Okay, and paste it to the range E10 through E19. So we select this range and we will click paste. Notice that there is no longer an error anymore. And then we go to step number 10. We will enter the following formulas in cell F9. So let's go to F9, and we must copy it as exactly as it is said right over here, starting with the equal sign, which takes us into formula mode. C9 multiplied by E9. So we put C9 multiplied is the asterisk. If you have a laptop, it's on the 8 shift right there. If you have a number keyboard, it has its own key for that as well. And then multiplied by E9. So there's the 9. Notice that I'm in lowercase. It doesn't really matter that it says uppercase over here. Okay, and then it says once we have entered that in cell F9, we're going to copy or fill the formula down through F19. So we can just we don't have to hit enter, we can just all do it in one step. Notice the little black dot or square at the corner right here. Notice the white plus changing to a black cross. That's the fill handle. We'll click and drag it all the way down through 20. Let it go, and there it is. Over here it says through 19 and I said 20. I meant 19 as well. Alright, so that was step number 10. In step number 11, we'll now do the same thing in cell G9. So we go to G9 over here and we will copy this formula, which is equals D9 multiplied by F9. So it's equal D9 multiplied by F9. Okay, just like it says right here, make sure that it is correct. We said D9 multiplied by F9. Alright, and we'll drag it down as well, all the way down to 19. Let it go. Okay, perfect. Notice that there are no dollar signs over here. We'll take care of that in the following steps. Let me move this over just a little bit to the right. Perfect. Alright, now we are all in step number 12. Step number 12, we will format cell E9 with the currency number format with 2 decimal places if it doesn't already appear with that format. So when I click on E9, notice up here it already says currency, so we don't have to change it. If it didn't, if it was in general format, we will need to make sure that we click that drop down and make sure that it's in currency. And then in step number 13, we will copy the currency format in cell E9 to ranges E10, E19. So let's do the first range. So we will copy this format. I'm sorry, when we're copying format, we have to click on the format painter. And since we're going to be copying that same format to 2 different ranges, we will click that format painter twice. If we only have to copy it once, we click it once. So here it says we're going to copy that format in ranges E10, E19, and F9, G10. So that is why we click this 2 times. Okay, so notice the paintbrush next to the plus. So we copy it down from E10 to E19. You will see no change because they already have the dollar signs, but we're just following the instructions. So we click here, E10 all the way to E19, let go, and it looks like it's the same. And then we go to the next range over to F9 through G20. Notice it still has a paintbrush. That's because we clicked this format painter twice. So we click over here in F9 all the way down to F20. Let go. Okay, and don't be worried about these over here. This simply means that the width between this column is too small, and we will expand that width in a minute. And then last but not least, we will also select cells F20 through G20 and apply the total cell style to them. Let's get rid of this by pressing the escape. Okay, and before we even do this step, let's go ahead and expand this. 2 ways to expand, make F a little bit wider. We can just click and drag, or we can double click. If we click and drag, it goes like that. Let me undo that and try it one more time. Instead of clicking and dragging, you can double click and it automatically adjusts. No more dollar symbols, number symbols over here. It's enough room for that. Okay, let me scroll down over here a little bit to do the last 2 steps. Okay, so we're now going to apply the total cell style to cells F20 through G20. So here is F20 and G20. We select that and we go up here to the cell styles button. We click that and we look for the total. And when we click on the total, it's going to look just like the toads over here on D20. Okay, and the last and final step, step number 15, we will click G5. Okay, where's G5? Up here. Very good. And in G5, we will apply the currency number format. Okay, so notice that when I click up here, it still says general. So we're going to click over here and apply the currency number format. Okay, and it's missing, it seems to be missing a step here. It should say we should be able to copy that format and apply it to this range, just like over here. And actually, if we read back over here, notice that this range includes G9 through G20, and I do believe in step number 13 it did say to apply that format from E10, E19 through F9, G20. So that means that I could have done it all in one step from here. Remember when we double clicked over here? Okay, I could have also done it this way. When I came over here, when it says F9 through G20, that would have taken care of these. So here's the F9, G, go all the way down to 20, and there. And then remember how we expanded these? Okay, let's get rid of this format painter by clicking escape. Double click between here, and now notice that it has expanded that, and that concludes this part of the lesson.